Hey, my name is Matt, and I'm an engineer here at Nfina Technologies. And today I'm going to give you a quick demo on how to set up the WireGuard VPN using the Nfina Firewall. So what I have here is our demo environment, and what I have is my home PC here, which is connected to the internet. I'm going to use it to VPN to the Nfina Firewall, and which I'm going to then connect to my PC here at work, which I'm currently on. So if I come over here to the Nfina Firewall interface, you can see that I've selected the VPN tab in the sidebar. And what I have here is an indicator that I have no interfaces, clients, or my service is inactive. So the first thing we need to do over here is actually define a VPN interface to use. So we'll click Add Interface. I'm going to give this an IP address of 172.16.2.1 with a 24-bit CIDR, and we're going to go to port 30,000. This port 30,000 is actually the port which the VPN server will listen for connections on. So that's essentially what the port is there. We'll click Save. We'll go to Apply Changes. We'll keep changes. And then at this point, we'll see that we actually have our WG0 interface added in here. So from here, we can gather the public key of the WG0 interface, which we will need to enter on the client side. And we can go ahead and take this over to the client side at this moment in time. We come to the client side, I have a Screen Connect open to my PC at home. This is the WireGuard interface. We can go ahead and click Add Tunnel, and we can add an empty tunnel here. I'm going to go ahead and define my peer. So this is a configuration file for the VPN, and I'm going to define the public key for my peer, which is the key that I just copied from the VPN server. I'll go ahead and paste that in there. I'm going to call this VPN test. I'm going to take this public key here from the client side, so that's the client's public key. We're going to come back over to the firewall interface, and we're going to go ahead and add this public key in here. So I'm going to call this VPN test2 to match my client name. And so allowed IP, this will be, I'm going to enter in the IP address that I'm actually going to assign to the interface on the client side. So we'll go ahead and add in that IP address, and I'm going to say it's on WG0. We'll click Save. We'll apply. We'll keep those changes. And at this point, we can go ahead and enable the service here and enable the interface on the VPN server. So as far as the VPN server is concerned, it's completely configured now to accept traffic from 172.16.2.152 on the WG0 interface at port 30,000. So the only thing left we have to do at this point is to set up the configuration file on the client side. So if we come back over here to the client side, we'll need a couple of entries here. So we need to give this the address, which was 172.16.2.152/32. We'll just double check that. 152.32, that's correct. And we'll go ahead and set the allowed IPs. And that's going to be 172.16.2.0/24, so we're going to allow that subnet. We're also going to allow 1.0/24 because that's the primary subnet that I want to connect to. The only thing left that we need to enter in is the endpoint information, which is the public IP of the VPN server itself, along with the port information on where to send the VPN request to. So at this point in time, we will go ahead and double check all of our configuration. We have our public key. We have our public key. I believe everything is correct here. We'll go ahead and click save. And we'll see that VPN test shows up here in our WireGuard configuration under tunnels. We'll go ahead and activate this interface. And we should be able to see here that in the log file, our startup is complete and we're actually active here on this VPN tunnel. So at this point in time, I should be able to connect to my PC at work, which we're going to test using iPerf. So back on my PC here at work, I've got iPerf downloaded and I'm going to run it in server mode. And here on the remote client side, I've got iPerf downloaded, but we're actually going to send the traffic across to the server mode version of iPerf. So if I run iperf-c, give the IP address of my PC in the office, we can see that that connection is made, and we can see what the speed of the traffic is running at. So it looks like we're running at 289 megabits per second here on our transfer between the two PCs through the VPN tunnel. And that's fairly consistent. So we hit that 2 times in a row, 289 megabits per second. That's very close to what we've actually purchased from the internet service provider, both on my home PC and where my work PC is. For comparison, if I deactivate this WireGuard VPN, so I'm no longer able to connect there, deactivated that VPN, I will now connect using the IPsec VPN that I have running through a Sonic wall. So I already have that all configured here. I'm not going to run through the configuration steps on it, but I can go ahead and connect here. It's built in. We're now connected. So I should be able to run the same test here against this particular PC. And we can see that the IPsec VPN here is running at about 66 megabits per second, 67 megabits per second. We'll run it again just to make sure. And that's pretty consistent. So in the end, what it looks like is that the WireGuard VPN that's been implemented in the Nfina Firewall is roughly 4 times faster, actually a little over 4 times faster than its IPsec counterpart, using same setup, same hardware, same connections, everything. All right, that's all I had for today. Thanks for watching.